Yep, you read the title right. Here with me, I have every single unique DS and 3DS model. Now you may ask, why do you have or need every single unique DS and 3DS? And the answer to that is really simple. Pokemon. Mainly shiny hunting. If you looked at my channel for more than 2 seconds, you know that all I post is shiny hunting. And yes, I'm a YouTube Shorts merchant. But that's why I'm making this video. To make something different. I don't want to be a YouTube Shorts merchant anymore. So, I thought now would be the perfect time to make a video now that I have all of these unique DSs and 3DSs. So, I'm going to go in order of when they were released. So, we're going to go from the original DS all the way up to the new 2DS XL. So, let's start. We have the original Nintendo DS. I like this thing. I think it's pretty good. Um the screens on it, they're kind of weird. They're like not bright. But that's why we have things like the DS Lite. You see, I got Pokemon Heart Gold in there. That's why I was doing stuff earlier with that. If you saw that execute video, um, yeah, I bought this thing for like $80-ish. It's in pretty good condition. This is very nice, except for like a few cuts right there, which is unfortunate. But it's not too big of a deal. This thing is basically just a souped up Game Boy Advance SP. So it has the kind of the Game Boyish buttons on there and the things. Doesn't have a trade slot though, so you can't trade with Gen 3, which kind of sucks because I don't have an SP. But this thing is pretty good. I like it. All right, moving on. Now we have the DS Lite. This thing, personally, is a piece of crap. This DS specifically. I bought this off of eBay for like $100, and this is a quick PSA. If you ever are buying a DS and it's not the DSi XL and it has 3 digits for the price tag, just keep looking because it's not worth it. Especially since I bought this thing quote unquote refurbished, but it was not refurbished in the slightest. This thing has so many problems. These buttons are terrible. They had refurbished buttons. This thing is falling apart, and one of these speakers doesn't work. At least it has a GBA slot cover for when you don't play GBA games, unlike the original DS. But personally, I think I do like the original DS better. Maybe I just need to get a newer DS Lite compared to this one. I'll do that eventually. Stylus is also really hard to take out, but yeah, not really a big fan of this. I'll get a new one eventually. All right, now we have the DSi. This used to be my siblings' DS before I basically stole it from them. They put some bullet holes in it, unfortunately. That really kind of ruins this thing. It also has some damage on the back, but I mean, otherwise, it's not too bad. The thing about the DSi's is for some reason, these are the DSi and the DSi XL, they're the only ones with like buttons to turn up and down the volume instead of a slider, which is really weird. You can see back in the day they had the DSiWare games, and we got some of those here. That's pretty nice. I mean, yeah, this thing's kind of broken too, because can't even soft reset right on this thing. I almost never use it for shiny hunting, but other than that, it's pretty good. But yeah, I would say just probably buy an XL if you're thinking about buying a DSi overall. And now we have the DSi XL. This thing is pretty good. I quite like it. See, I don't have the original stylus. That's why it's sticking out a little bit. Do I have an SD card in here? I do have an SD card. I don't know. DS SD cards on DSi's. They're not really useful unless you're modding them, and this thing isn't modded, so not really anything useful for that. I was playing Pokemon White, doing a shiny playthrough of that. Something weird about this one specifically is that the bottom screen burns in. So if you leave it on like something like this and then you switch to something else, you can see the burn in of this. I don't know if that's a common problem with these things, but I've noticed that a lot since, shiny hunting is very monotonous and you see the same stuff over and over again. So it's really obvious when you're shiny hunting on this thing. Yeah, not really any DSiWare games on this, but other than the screen burn in, this is probably the best DS you can get, seeing as how it has the biggest screen, so you can see the easiest on it. It's pretty good. All right, moving on to the 3DSs now. We have the original 3DS. I have most of these 3DSs I have cases for, and whenever you have like these cases, they always have a little thing on them, so like they keep the top one in place, but I don't like those. It feels very limiting, so I decided to get rid of this one, but I didn't realize that it pretty much needs it to stay on like that, so it's basically ruined, but that's it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I quite like the original 3DS. This People have said this is feels more premium than the other ones, and I can agree with that. Feels very nice. The one thing I don't like about it is that the home or the bottom buttons, they just don't feel good to press at all. But the 3D, can't really see it on the screen, but yeah. Something else about these 3DS models is whenever I see them online, most of them don't have this back sticker for some reason. I have no idea why. They almost never have these back stickers. And I don't know if that's because they're like fake or like whatever reason, but yeah, it's really strange. Also, just a quick another PSA. Whenever you're selling your 3DS, which I don't think you should do by the way, please clear everything off, because then sometimes when you just send it off, you're just sending off like all of your information, especially when you have like your Mii's of your family members. That's not cool. So make sure to just delete all that or just completely wipe it before you send it to somebody. All right, that's the 3DS. All right, now we got the 3DS XL. This is probably my favorite or most nostalgic 3DS. I used to have one of these when I was like really little, but unfortunately, it got the DS Classic and I snapped it in half. Maybe wearing headphones, wired headphones on on a stair probably isn't the best idea, and then it tumbled down and it snapped in half. That was a very sad day. I never really treated that thing well anyways. It had a whole bunch of water damage. But I mean, other than that, yeah, there's really nothing wrong with the 3DS XL. It's probably the most simple 3DS out there. But here's another PSA. If you're looking to buy specifically a 3DS XL and the price tag starts with a 2, don't buy it unless it's some like special edition or it comes with the box. But if it's just like something regular like this, don't buy it, because 200 is just way too much for these things. Like these things should be 150 maximum. That is like the maximum I'd ever be willing to pay for this. I paid like 135 for this back in like October of 2023. So I bought most of these after the 3DSs got expensive. So that's maybe that says a lot about me. Who knows? But yeah, 3DS XL, pretty good. I like it. And now we have the 2DS. This is my original 2DS. I remember I bought this back in winter time of 2016. I had another 3DS before that, but my parents put parental controls on it, so I kind of bought this thing to avoid the parental controls. As you can see, this was the one bundled with Mario Kart 7. It's all right. I prefer like 8 Deluxe and World, but 7's all right. See, I also got a bunch of stickers. Chinchino, I like Chinchino. That's my favorite Pokemon from the Badge Arcade, which is shut down now, unfortunately. I also had Pokemon Bank. Hopefully they don't shut that down anytime soon. Yeah, I really got my money's worth out of this thing. Only $80. Major voice crack. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this for $80. This was a steal back in the day. And I got a street pass. Probably from all the other DSs I have. Yeah, I wasn't really, like I said, the best to these things. There's plenty of scratches on this thing. It's pretty rough. This circle pad is pretty hard to move nowadays. But I mean, something special about keeping consoles you had that were originally yours. So, it'll always hold some sentimental value to me. All right, this is where things get really good. Now we have the new 3DS. This is a Japanese one. Man, I really regret buying this thing. This thing is very disappointing. These are easily the most expensive 3DS consoles. And I got one with the box, but I personally I don't really care about the box when it comes to things like this. This is a Japanese model too, so it was a bit cheaper, but still way too expensive. As you can tell, yes, it's modded. Who would have thought a modded 3DS? That's basically the only thing the Japanese systems are good for if you're American like I am. Play a lot of Dream Team. That's a good game. Got some other games down there too, but when I see people with modded 3DSs, they always have like every single game known to man, and they always have it on like the maximum, so you can literally see every single thing. That is disgusting in my opinion, because for a fact that they're not going to play half of those games, and if they are going to play them, they're going to be like 1 hour in, and then they're just going to quit. So that's why I would only ever download games that I would actually play. So that's why I only have like four games on this thing. I'm sure I'll play more in the future, but that's the whole point of a modded 3DS, to play games. But yeah, another thing about this 3DS, it is so hard to find ones without the yellowing on the top and bottom screens. It's unbelievable. Also, this one that I bought was really dirty on the inside. Like, incredibly dirty. I had to like basically clean it out because it was so disgusting. I don't know what that was. It was probably like cigarette smoke or something, but oh my gosh, it was so nasty. But I mean, hey, you got faceplates that you can swap. I'll probably never do that unless I buy some, of course. It also has the case and protective shell on it. I mean, I don't know. These things are pretty overrated. I would totally just skip the new 3DS if you're looking to buy one. Just not recommended at all. Alright, what could be better than a modded 3DS? 2 modded 3DSs! Wow! As you can see, this one has a Mario Kart World background. I really like Mario Kart World. Probably one of my second favorite games of all time. I actually had a world record in Mario Kart World once. Got a bunch more games on this one. This was my original modded 3DS before the other one, but So I have a bit more games on this, games that I actually play. Oh, look, Pretendo. I heard they updated that. And also got like PKSM for all the Pokemon stuff. Oh, look, we got Terraria. Surprised they made Terraria on the 3DS, but yeah, I remember I didn't tell you when I bought the regular new 3DS, but oh shoot. I bought that one like a few months ago, so it's a more recent disappointment, but this thing is definitely not a disappointment. I am very glad that I bought this thing. I remember I bought it early 2023, so that's around the time that I decided that I wanted to get every single unique DS and 3DS model. So, this has been a 3-year project, but wait for the ending. That is such a good song. But yeah, just just a regular modded 3DS. Some people, they like to make videos of like, "Oh, what's on my modded 3DS?" And they'll like showcase their 3DS, and they have all this stuff on it, but I don't really think that's necessary, because like, what's on your modded 3DS? Games. That's why you bought the thing. But yeah, the this thing is pretty good. I I really like it. And last but not least, we have the new 2DS XL. I remember I bought this back in summer of 2024. Honestly, this thing is very underrated. Like, if you were to buy any DS or 3DS right now, I would say probably get like a Japanese new 2DS XL, because you're getting the most bang for your buck. The one thing I don't like about these things, though, is that it feels really fragile. This thing feels like it's gonna break if I look at it the wrong way. So if you're ever gonna have one of these things, be careful with it. And I got Soul Silver in there again, more shiny hunting. Something weird about this console specifically, though, is if you notice, there's no Street Pass Me Plaza, which is really weird because all of my other 3DSs have Street Pass Me Plaza, but for some reason this one doesn't. If anybody could let me know why that is, I'd love to know, but yeah, this one just doesn't have it for some reason. What this thing does have, though, whoever bought it previously and sold it to me, they bought a bunch of games on the eShop that you can still download. Luckily, they haven't prevented you from doing that, so I have a bunch of free games like Mario 3. I was playing Mario 3. Would you look at that? Isn't that great? But yeah, I basically just got a bunch of free games, but unfortunately the SD card they gave me, again, PSA, make sure you delete the things off your SD card, cuz there was just some like random kid on here. And I don't want to just have like some random kid on my DS. So please either get a new SD card or wipe everything from it, or just like completely factory reset the thing. But yeah, 2DS XL, very nice but very fragile. Now, if you noticed in the thumbnail, I had 2 extra new 3DS XLs, so I'm going to talk about those too. This is my original new 3DS XL that I bought right after I broke my original 3DS XL. And yeah, this thing has seen some better days. It has a little chip there. The hinges are very loose, scratches all over the place. The nub is worn down. These buttons are also really crunchy. I think I spilled milk in this thing one time, but that's how you know it's gotten lots of love. Yeah, even the power button is sticky. I also bought this Mario armor with it back in the day. This is a third-party stylus. It doesn't really work very well, but yeah, this thing's basically retired nowadays because it means too much to me, and I don't want to really use it too much in case, I don't know, something happens. I can always send it to like a repair shop or something, but you know, I don't know if I'll ever do that. I might just want to keep it as it is. I mean, at least it still works. I mean, that's probably the best thing about it. It still works even after all the abuse it's taken. So, that's always nice. I love this thing. Very good. All right, and now we have my last console, my Galaxy new 3DS XL. This is probably the most valuable one that I have for not only one, the condition that it's in, but two, the price that I got it for. I remember back in summer of 2023, I went to a local game shop and they had this thing for $150. Can you believe that? $150 for a Galaxy new 3DS XL, and it works so well. There's like no issues with this thing. It's amazing. So, the fact that I got it for so well, you know, personally, I don't think a used 3DS should ever go above $100, but that's not the world we live in. But assuming market value, this was basically a steal. I had to pick this up. They also had an original 3DS for $100, but I could only get one, so I had to get the XL, even though I already had two other ones. This was the last one I got, but how could I not? I mean, yeah, I've really said all I had to say about the new 3DS XLs, but this really is the cream of the crop when it comes to 3DS systems in terms of quality. These things are built different, honestly. They're great. So that's it. There's all my DSs and 3DSs. They're all beautiful. I all love them. Maybe some more than others, but you know, maybe it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So, if you want to see me make another video like this, I said I have a lot of Pokemon games. So, maybe I'll make a video exploring all of my save files because I see a lot of people doing that too. But other than that, I love the 3DS. I'm sure you do too. And that's the end of the video.